My Hero Academia Chapter 396 is finally out, and with it comes the highly anticipated third battle of All For One and All Might. You heard me right, folks, it's All For One versus All Might 3. And this time it's truly do or die. For the love of God, he's quirkless! But before we begin, don't forget to Detroit smash the subscribe button to keep up to date with all the LunchTime crew / My Hero content. And so, without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Chapter 396, titled A Quirkless Fight. This chapter opens up 20 minutes before the last chapter ended and the Twice clones disappeared, with All Might facing off against All For One, remembering Night Eye's warning about him facing a horrific end at the hands of a terrible villain. With this thought in his head, All Might realizes that the villain in question Sir Night Eye was referring to was probably All For One, and if his prophecy hasn't been avoided yet, the tragic fight which he saw was most certainly this fight right now. Yet, even with the knowledge that fate is setting up this fight to be his last, All Might, without even a moment's hesitation, pushes forward, as his car Hercules starts to transform and encase the former #1 hero's body, turning into a super suit of armor, which is designed to look exactly like All Might's old hero form and costume, including his antennae hair and all. And I gotta say, he looks awesome. He looks even more like out of a comic book than he originally did. Why didn't he fight like this sooner? It's also important to note that this super suit encases All Might's entire body with the exception of his mouth, which he explains is because the world needs to see the truth behind his master's words, that the people in this world who can smile are always the strongest. That's badass. But anyways, Armored All Might, which is officially what he calls himself in this suit by the way, then commands Hercules to start recording the fight, to which the car replies that it already has. This recording is being directly transmitted to the hero's HQ, where we see the policeman and Tsukauchi looking on at All Might's final fight. La Brava, in seeing the absolute perfect opportunity to gain more views on the Gentle Criminal channel, immediately starts to set up a new stream showing All Might and All For One's fight to the world. Wow, she really is a desperate YouTuber. And despite the policeman's protest, La Brava dramatically says, "Start stream," as the stream goes live. Tsukauchi, remembering the moment All Might left the command room saying that he could join the fight, wonders if his friend has finally chosen the spot where he will die, as Tsukauchi admits that All Might must know it's impossible for someone without a quirk to actually have even the slightest chance of winning a fight against the Demon King All For One, no matter how many support items they may have. Tsukauchi, then not wanting to watch the reputation and life of his dear old friend get destroyed right before the world's very eyes, tells La Brava to stop the stream, because all they're going to see is a former hero getting brutally killed to buy a few minutes or maybe just a few seconds for his student. Damn, Tsukauchi, that's cold. And following this, the story cuts right back to the fight, where All For One, in seeing All Might, immediately realizes that he is just a trap set to delay All For One's arrival to Shigaraki and to run down the clock on his time left. However, in seeing that smile, that damn smile on All Might's face, All For One loses all self-control and he pulls back his arm and unleashes a powerful electric beam attack on the hero. All Might, noticing that it's go time, quickly charges the villain, and as the energy beam approaches, he calls out Hercules Red, causing the remaining parts of Hercules to shoot forward and form a shield around him. And as All For One's blast shoots into All Might and straight through multiple nearby buildings, showing just how powerful it really was, we see that All Might's shield managed to withstand the attack, leaving the hero unscathed. However, Hercules is quick to inform us and All Might that one attack destroyed 66% of the shield, meaning that if All For One were to use it again, trying to block it with the shield would be futile. Despite this worrisome information, to say the least, All Might continues to superpower leap towards All For One with a smile on his face. All For One, with his own arm destroyed from using that attack, but quickly regenerating it back, angrily shouts at All Might that his normal way of fighting, of charging headfirst into battle battle and taking on all of the incoming attacks was only possible because he had One for All. And as All for One, looking more furious than we have ever seen him, rockets towards All Might, preparing another attack, he reminds the hero that now he is quirkless. Although, in response to these comments, All Might simply replies by shouting back, "Black Whip," as multiple devices propel out of the armored suit, and each of these, along with the suit itself, shoot thick wires all over and into the villain's body, stopping him in his tracks and holding him in place. All for One, completely caught off guard by this attack, quickly prepares to destroy the wires and devices. But before he can, All Might continues shouting, this time exclaiming, "Charge Bolt," which causes the wires to charge with electricity, electrocuting All for One, which not only begins to damage All for One, but the constant electrical charge greatly slows down his arm's regeneration. This gives All Might a bit of extra time to get close to the villain without having to worry about an incoming attack. And so, using the wires now hooked into All for One, All Might actually starts to swing towards him using a technique he calls cellophane. And in case you haven't noticed it yet, which I doubt it, yes, it seems All Might is fighting All for One with support items that mimic Class 1A's powers, and are even named after some of their hero names, which is actually such a fun detail. He's been watching and mentoring them for so long that he knows just how powerful his 1A kids can be. It's like pseudo 1A versus All for One. But anyways, as All Might approaches the temporarily immobilized All for One, he starts to tell All for One how ever since their first fight, and even before it, since the villain's fight with Nana Shimura, he noticed that All for One always started the battle with a big, long-range attack. And after looking back at their previous fight, he actually does. All Might then continues, saying that he realized All for One does this purposely, hoping it will weaken his enemy before he tries to steal their quirk. And unfortunately for All for One, even though he realized that All Might can't fight the same because he doesn't have a quirk, he forgot to consider the fact that he can't fight the same either, because he's fighting against someone who is quirkless. And as All Might finishes this little speech, another piece of Hercules flies upwards towards All Might, attaching to his left leg, propelling the hero upwards. Back over in the control center, La Brava taunts a completely shocked Tsukauchi about how wrong he was, as they look on at All Might actually fighting back against All for One. All Might then tells the stunned All for One that his armor and car were specifically designed and made for him by the friend he made over in America after being forced to leave Japan due to Nana's death, and his daughter, revealing that Hercules and Armored All Might were made by none other than David and Melissa Shield, as we actually see Melissa watching the fight on TV. Look, it's actually her. She's in the manga. She's manga canon, and it's not just a tiny cameo. All Might says that the Shields designed this armor and car so that even despite his quirklessness, he could still fight. And even though he might not be able to fight for long, he's still happy to be able to fight for even this short amount of time. All Might then finally ends all of this talking by leaving Tsukauchi one final message, saying, "My friend, we have known each other for a long time, so you should know this. I've never went into a fight thinking that I would lose." As All Might, using the newly attached rocket boot that propelled him upwards, unleashes a devastatingly powerful kick directly into All for One's face, while shouting, "Shoot style, smash!" Holy crap, I'm hyped! And that's it for chapter 396. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like. For more content like this, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It's lunchtime!